Get out the insurance cards, get out the co-pays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by
Yo, everybody, it's
drroto.com.
your rider. So let's get to it. Bring the pain!
What's up, everybody? This is Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you this week. Ooh, yeah! Woo! I will tell you this. I love doing this show, and I think everybody, every single week that comes in, tunes in, and plays those plays that we hit. Last week was another big week again. Felt good, had some hits. You know, I haven't even got time to get all the hits together because we're going to another karate tournament this weekend. It's the Christmas Kumite in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, you know, I'm not going to compete because, well, it's Christmas. Can't always dish out the money to go fight when you want to buy presents for everybody. That's the type of giving that we do in Bring the Pain. Yeah. Woo! All right. Yeah, it's two fists today. Yeah, that's rare. That's actually rare, people. Rare times, people. But this is a live podcast. So if you are here, you can ask me a question. I'm already looking at next week's slates. I can pull it up in front of me. I can answer those questions as well, too. At the end of this episode, I will give out my Macho pick of the week, and I will give out a seasonal fantasy football play as well, too. It's always the IDP pick of the week. You go on, pick them up. Most likely this player is going to be on your waiver wires. It's championship times. You know what's funny is I've seen a few people kind of like tap out. They're not even like giving content now. And I know that's not like everybody because, you know, us at Dr. Roto, we're giving you all the type of content, NBA, NHL. We got plays. People are trying to win some money here. Of course, UFC being just godsend right now. God, I just love the UFC right now. And I'll tell you, we'll get to that. And you'll see why. And if you followed the show, if you followed the Fight Club of Playing with Dan and I, then you know that the UFC sheriffs, hashtag UFC sheriffs, have been on a hit roll. Now we get our last show this week. That doesn't mean Dan and I are not going to continue podcasting. So we, as the season changes, this is actually kind of a cool kind of segue. So I won't have a lot of UFC work to do. So, of course, I'll be able to focus a lot more on the NFL. And, of course, not that I've had a bad year this year with the NFL, but UFC, NFL, it kind of just allows you to focus. And then by the time the NFL is about to end, the UFC will be back. And then you will have one of the best UFC podcasts, betting-wise, DFS-wise, and entertainment-wise in the world. Because we're here for another Hard Hits review. Ooh, yeah! I bet y'all never seen that coming. But here, this is what we do. We're live. We're having fun. It's a Tuesday. I just got out of class. So, again, that's the stuff that we plot. So, I want to walk through this weekend's Dvalishili versus Jan 2. Of course, everybody already knows. Everybody already did their videos. But guess what? I didn't do mine. And I have NFL attached to this. So I don't see many people doing an NFL and a UFC podcast. That's a fact. And I don't see many people doing it both ways and being successful at both. That's something that we've been able to pull off at Dr. Roto. If you get over to Dr. Roto, use code word WIN, you will get a percentage off of your subscription. Ooh, yeah! Right? Let's go. All right. Boom. Let's do the walkthrough. Let's break it down. Break it down. You know, DX style. I mean, Muhammad Naimov got lit up by Myron Santos. Now, if you listen to the Fight Club of Pain, you will have noticed and you will have heard that we had Santos third round knockout, third round knockout. That's the type of information you get for the UFC at Dr. Roto. And I bring this up because you guys need to join. This was nothing but a rookie season. As of the last few weeks, I haven't even had to write down a lot of the notes because it's been a lot of repeat fighters. And just like the NFL, I kind of bring that pain that I want to talk about, you know, learning the fighters. I learn them. It's the same way I learn playbooks. That's what sets off the Ultra Contrarian show from a different lot of shows. And we'll get to that too, because the numbers don't lie, people. The percentages for DFS this week, that Dan and I gave out and Steve and I gave out, it's great. And again, one-stop shop. You're getting all of that information at once. So, that being said, let's get to it. All right, got the Santos knockout. Mansur Abdul Malik got that win. I mean, who didn't? Who didn't, right? Who didn't, right? But did you think that was a knockout? Because we thought that was going to be a sub. So that's why we play different ways. But I got a percentage thing for you on him, too. Iu Baranuski, I had him over Aslam. So, you know, I'm already starting off really hot with this card. And we got straight knockouts just going, right? Unders. We're hitting unders. We're hitting that. I had a 3-leg parlay to start this podcast, and I got that. Edison Barboza got whoop by Jalen Turner. What? We had knockout. We had that all under everything. We're hitting positives. That's what the Fight Club of Pain does. Get on to it. I did pick Vettori, but of course I had Ferreira in a DFS lineup, and that kind of worked out for me on the DFS side. Sadikov versus Fares Ziam. Now, Sadikov did have a decent fight, and we'll bring up his percentage later. But the fact, when you all hear Ziam's percentage in the DFS slate on DraftKings, I just want to say thank you once again for the people who didn't listen to the Fight Club of Pain, because it made our lineups unique because you didn't have the information to put him in there. And that is something we will stand on. Oh, yeah. Right? Boom. Got that win. Macy Barber got that win. Of course, that was a fight covered on the Fight Club of Pain. Dan nailed it. We had that bet too. We'll get to those bets. And then I got my boy Chris the Problem Duncan. I'm going to tell you this right now. I love Chris Duncan. You know, after Chris Duncan kind of got his first win, jumping the gilly, and then I was kind of against him. I was on Jordan Vucinic side, right? And he started tagging. And then Duncan got that. I said, nope. I know what Terrence McKinney is dangerous. And for about 30 seconds, he looked dangerous until Chris grabbed his ass, right? Once Chris grabbed him, it was over. It was over. We had Chris Duncan winning. I went with my heart on that pick, and I will stand by it. I see what Chris does on a daily basis. I see what Chris does, and I see the hard work. I see what he's doing, and he was kind enough to actually talk back to me and talk through messages and other stuff. So I really respect him for that, and I'm happy that he was able to get this, secure this victory again, doing what he does and getting those submissions and winning the Fight Club of Pain and Pain Bringers and subscribers at Dr. Roto a lot of money. Yeah. All right. Let's move along. I did pick Grant Dawson, but I have been very nice all week. Wait till I release all my Manuel Torres knockout props. I'm about to bring that down. And I don't want to always try to say like, well, this is what we do, you know, but I am transparent. I do have losses, right? I had Pantoja. I literally, and Dan did too, picked Moreno, Pantoja, and Dvalishili. It happens, right? It's right. But for this card, I still went 9-4-1. So I'm going to say that that's still a great card. We've put out the great product all year long. And when we do the review show, that's what we're going to talk about. Just kind of having fun, talking with the people. Oh, I should have put up in here. What's up, Eduardo? It's good to see you. Woo! Yeah, I know. You won't get me with that. Hey, you know, this guy in here rolling the 6-7. Why is this guy rolling the 6-7? All right, let me tell you something. Back in the day when I grew up, we had real rappers like Spice One. We didn't need code words. Spice One didn't use code words. His code word was "Wow." If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, it's still funny with y'all on your 6-7 though. That was cute when Joseph Morales did that, right? Was it Joseph? I think it was Joseph Morales that did that. Like, yeah, Yeah, that's what we do, right? Move along. I got Dawson wrong, though. I got, so for Jan Blachowicz and Guskov, we already know that happened. That ended up being what it was. And I had Talbot. I did have Talbot knockout. That actually was the only leg of the Parlay of Pain that lost this week. Now, I know that a lot of people sometimes don't believe in other people, and a lot of people in this world think they're always smarter. But again, every week, Dan and I give out the Parlay of Pain, and the Parlay of Pain has had 3 losses in 4 weeks. 3, 4. That's 5 picks. That's 20. That's 17 and 3. Okay? So, if you find another site that's 17 and 3 with what they say with their chest in any sport, then tell them to call Heat Override. But until they actually get good, they ain't gonna get good unless you join Dr. Roto. Yeah. Numbers don't lie. All right, we all know we picked Moreno, Pantoja, Dvalishvili, 9-4-1 for the card. My worst card in over a month. Whatever. It happens. That's fine with me. I mean, a broke arm, people. A broke arm, right? But here's the thing. So, of course, we had Macy Barber, points and knockout. We had Macy Barber, distance and money line, which was a plus 130. No, that was a plus 102. So, that was recommended by Dan. We smashed that. Now, here's the thing with Chris Duncan. We had a lot of second round action, right? But we had first and second round knockout, just for it. Knockout and sub, negative 140. Sub, plus 340. Sub, plus 340. The sub for that fight was also a plus 140. Had that under 2.5, I was under 0.5 rounds, was a plus 194. That also hit as well, too. It was close, but it did hit. And moneyline distance, no, negative 143. We gave these all away live, and we will give away numbers this week on Thursday at 7 p.m. live. That's what we do. That's what we do, right? So I'm just reviewing some of the bets, and then we'll get to on some of the other stuff that we're going to talk about. And, of course, my Macho pick of the week. So we move along to Brandon Moreno. Look, the under 2.5 was a plus 230. We recommended that. Also, the sub, plus 550. Moneyline distance, sub points. We had all that. Decision, no bet. You know what I love to do? I like to just do decision, no bets parlays, right? Because I just thought about it this week. With that being said, what's really going on is if it doesn't finish, you get your money back. So they void it as a leg. So then you're putting those decision no bets in. If you happen to nail 5 finishes like we do so well in the Fight Club of Pain, then you bring it all back. If a few go distance, they get voided, you still get the 3s and the 2 that work. This is just common sense, people. But the fact is that a lot of people don't like to actually listen to that. They want to do their own thing, and that's fine. But we're a service at Dr. Roto, and you can be our rich friend, right? That is why I say we have the right cure for any fantasy need. So, move along. We had that thing. Also, we had the under 3.5 on the Pantoja fight. Negative 104. We had the knockout plus 300. Knockout, and we had knockout for 234 for Josh Van. Of course, broke arm happened way too fast. Knockout and points plus 200. Money line, distance, no. Van plus 384. And then knockout points, negative 115. So again, we had really good betting. Even though we lost those picks, we still won the bets. That is what I'm teaching. That is what Dan is teaching at the Fight Club of Pain. That is what Steve and I try to use to teach at the Ultra Contrarian show as well. That being said, let's pop it down. We got the main event, right? Distance, negative 380. Knew it was going to do it. We did have some action on some knockouts. That did not happen. Of course, decision no bets came back. Money line and distance for both fighters paid out. And it was just a really good event. What was really nice is that there was like numbers, like there was a special number. It was total takedowns for the fight was at like 5.5. So I played that, and it was worth a shot. So let's get to the parlay of pain. Parlay of pain. Abdul Malik, knockout or sub, -425. Put the parlay of pain at a -425, right? Boom. Baranowski, money line, -200, easy money. Turner, knockout for both. Boom, got it. Sadakov's fight, of course, knockout for both. Boom, got it. +210. That brought the parlay of pain up to an 815. So right there, you had the 815, the 195, the -114, and you had the -425. Talbot missed. It went the distance, but I disagree with that fight because, I mean, whatever. It was Cejudo's last fight, and they let him survive. But I feel that when I saw Talbot doing the ground and pound on him, that I was just waiting for the ref to stop it, and he did it. +2352. We missed that. But we hit everything else. The round robin returned exactly the way I said it would. Now, again, when I say I went 17-3, and those are the total picks, and the parlay of pain has been 4-1, 4-1, 5-0, 4-1, right? That means that all of the 4 bets, 3 bets, and 2 bets hit as well because of the round robin. It's the type of stuff that we teach everybody at Dr. Roto. So, you got to get there. And SiriusXM seriously needs to cover the UFC. They do their little basketball thing. They do their little lead up to baseball. Why do you not cover it? You do not think people will listen to it? Just go look. I understand. But you know what? Maybe it's not. And for that, we get better numbers on the UFC side for the betting. And because we get better numbers, we make more money than your other sports. That's a fact. Go check it. Because when you actually do the math and you figure it out and you see why I'm pushing the UFC product at Dr. Roto, then you understand. You can say I'm cocky, but I'm not. I'm really not. I'm really just trying to tell everybody what we're doing. And if you don't want to believe in me, if you don't want to believe in the Dr. Roto website, I get it. I get it. You're smarter. You're smarter. But you know what? You're not that smart. Not a lot of people are, right? And we're consistent in our rookie season. Consistency. And that's the product that we brought. That's what I say, dude. Flores. What? Do wait till you get this next. All right. Since you said that, there was three parlays. I've put 3 parlays in the subs only Discord at Dr. Roto every single week. Use code WIN to get there. Right? Boom. I'll bring up this one right here. I used a profit boost on this. I had Santos moneyline -209, under 1.5 rounds, -182 for Abdul Malik's fight. I had Baranowski knockout or sub -133. Jalen Turner to win by knockout rounds 1 and 2 +126. And the Sadikov Zaim fight would not go the distance. And that was a +1688 to, and then I used the boost. Because that's how you take advantage. +2194. That, all 5 legs hit. It was round robin. I made a ton of money off of that. So the parlay of pain goes 4-1. This free lineup in the subs only Discord at Dr. Roto, you can buy that. If you want the subs only Discord information, you get Doc for an hour and a half on Sunday mornings to answer your start quick sit questions. I mean, this is a great deal, people. If you're in the championships, you want to get there. And I will get to that in a second, actually. And so also, so that, that was that. But even this 3-leg parlay with the decision no bets, Baranowski, Barber, Duncan, I went for all finishes. It was a +388 and it hit. That's how you make money, buddy. That's how you make money. Here's the thing. If you sit back and look at a touchdown prop, it's the negative 250. And matter of fact, the Macho pick of the week that I'm going to give out soon he doesn't even have a touchdown prop right now. So it's probably going to be a negative 190 or a negative 250. And look, I see that I got some of that, but I got a knockout for plus 750. That's what part of people don't understand that the plus 750 is better. And they go, well, how can you predict this knockout heat override? Well, you have to watch the Fight Club of Pain and the way to do it. Also, I just had my other podcast drop where I interviewed a local MMA artist, and coming soon, Julius Juicebox Walker was on Bring the Pain. I interviewed him. He sat down. We talked about fight theory, his upcoming fight with Yaron Saltabaldiv, right? Sati Baldiv. There it goes. Anyway, we got him. So you will see the interview with Julius Walker hitting it. I don't think there's many other DFS sites that do that are on the level of Dr. Roto. So that's why I'm saying is what we're bringing is just more than just DFS seasonal betting and all that. I brought Simon Shackleton, a 35 plus year music producer that has created multiple songs, and that I also have been able to talk to Julius Walker. That right there alone shows the direction that the Fight Club of Pain is going with the UFC product. So when you say you want to make money, that's how you make money at these bets. And we're already working at it. I mean, in the past, even my money line was a five leg, and Pantoja broke that, and so did Dawson. But I got 3 out of the 5 because I round robin. Let's just say I'd put in $10 overall. I still made 11 or 12 bucks. So I didn't lose. I made money. And like I said, so I went 3-2, 4-1, and 5-0. That was all in the subs only Discord. If you take all of those and you play singles, you already did the math. 3 losses. So you're 12-3, right? That's how you make money. And that's really all it is. And that's what I want to do. And that's why me and Dan give out those bets. And it's why we only do it to 3 fights for the smalls and then 5 fights for the main cards. So that's what we do. So let's get to it. Let's get to it. So my picks 9-4-1. Unfortunately for those 3 losses, me and Dan went 2-3. First losing week in over a month on the Fight Club of Pain. DFS numbers. Peyton Talbot was not only recommended with the lineup that I gave out on the Fight Club of Pain, he was also 11% owned. Thank you. 124 points. Because nobody wanted to believe, except 11% on the biggest slate, in Peyton Talbot. It's all right. That's what happens. Statikov, he lost 23%. Vittori, he lost. Went to distance, 13%. Still good money, still a little cheaper. I love the fact that none of y'all really rostered Abdul Malik at 21%. That's pretty low. That's pretty low for somebody who dusted his opponent and knew that was an easy thing. That's how you make money. And all you got to do, Floor, is, like I said, is just get to Dr. Roto, join, use code word WIN, get into the subs only Discord. We got basketball, hockey. We're going to have golf. So you're going to have MMA, well, UFC and golf in the off season. And then, of course, NBA and NHL when the NFL stops. But for right now, you get all that together. And that's what's good at it. It's a nice low price. You get the percentage off. So let's move along. Blachowicz, 12% owned. Another fighter that was recommended. But here we go. Zion, 16% owned. Talbot and Zion were in a lot of my lineups. I actually avoided the Pantoja Van fight. and I had a lot of Dvalishili. That just happens. That happens, right? Let's move along to the Ultra Contrarian show. The Ultra Contrarian show. Who was the quarterback? I said Jordan Love. 5% owned. 5% owned. Nailed it. Nailed it with him. Was able to do it. I gave out 3 quarterbacks. Tyrod Taylor was hurt. Jordan Love and Josh Allen. That's all I got to say. By the way, Josh Allen was 22% owned in the big slates. Bucky Irving, 14% owned, part of the Ultra Contrarian lineup. Watson, part of the Ultra Contrarian lineup, 19% owned. Wilson was 59% owned. That everybody knew to play Wilson, but 3 touchdowns? It's why I'm moving on in my hometown league. But if you know, I have been supporting Colby Parkinson for the Rams for each one of these weeks. Well, he scored his touchdown. 3% owned. Thank you. Thank you for not believing in those Rams, because guess what? It takes a Rams fan to really know his team, right? Yeah, and it's been working. He's been minimum. This was the first time he was kind of over 5,000, and, you know, like it was like that last week too. Hey, I'm taking the free money. I'm steering us away. I'm being contrarian. That's what the name of the show is. But here we go.
Ooh, yeah, the Macho pick of the week. Ooh, you might just have to give it. Might have to give the Macho pick of the week out right now. Yeah.
Chase Brown, 12% owned. Did y'all see that coming? Because guess what? I got called crazy for wanting to play Chase Brown. And I'm happy that some of y'all listen. And some of y'all listen. Or the server. How do I join the server Discord? Once you join, all you have to do is get into, the link should be in your settings. That's something like once you get in there, if you just email, because I can't do that live right now. I can't do that live, but I can definitely help that along. But you should be able to go to the site and you can choose the option for Discord only, and you can hit that up. And by the way, once you get there, you could just scroll up and see all the winnings. You're going to be like, he's right. UFC pays out way more money. And people like me, fighters like me, I'm a fighter, you know, like this is a grand championship from this year. I'm a grand champion, double grand champion. And I just see things differently. I feel that fighters see fights differently, right? We do. Why? Because a lot of people that don't fight, computers don't fight, right? Well, maybe somewhere in the world they fight, but computers don't fight. Simulators can't predict what's going to happen in a ring. Simulators cannot see that somebody's going to send a couple punches down the pipe and make a difference in a fight. But fighters can, because we move at a different speed. We see at a different speed because things are slow for us in the ring. We just know what to look for. And that's what we sell at Dr. Roto through the Fight Club of Pain. And, but I mean, Chase Brown, 12%. But let's get you the Macho pick of the week. It's Saquon Barkley. And it's not because of what he did last night. I have been waiting for this game for a while. He's playing the Raiders. But here's the thing. When the Eagles lose, he has 13 or less carries other than the last game. He actually had 20. Now, Saquon Barkley is going to tear the Raiders up because the Eagles have to start winning now. They have to start winning. They're fading. They're not looking like they're going to be the number one team. And they don't want to end up having to go to Seattle. Well, Seattle would end up coming to Philly because they're most likely the Eagles are going to win their division. That being said, Saquon Barkley, DK 7,100. You're going to give me Saquon Barkley at 7,100? I will take that all day long. FanDuel was a little crazy with the running back prices for the last, say, week or two. This week, they only really have a few people above 9,000. But guess what? Barkley's 85. I love Derrick Henry, too. By the way, there's a free pick. So there's 2 of the people that are probably going to be on the Ultra Contrarian show. That's why you watch Bring the Pain, and that's why you watch the Hard Hits review. Because I give out pointers. That's how you got to do that, right? Right? All right. So if you move along, there's no touchdown. Saquon Barkley is going to score this week, and I can see him really taking this because if you looked at his face, if y'all watched last night and you seen Saquon's face after that loss, I don't want to be the team that plays him next week. If he sucks, he sucks. But I will say this, there's only been 1 week this year that the Macho Pick of the Week has not scored a touchdown. We're entering week 15. That's 13-1. By the way, so let's give out my IDP player of the day. I'm going at old school, people. I'm going Cam Hayward for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Look, the Dolphins are in Pittsburgh on Monday Night Football. Tua does not like any kind of pass rush. He gets scared, and Pittsburgh has a pass rush. They have to pay attention. Achane was banged up in the last game, came out, cost the ultra contrarian, even though he got 17 points. I'll give him that. But if he plays the rest of that game, we get a lot more money out of him. We also had Darnell Washington go down, too, in one of my lineups. That sucked. But moving along, he averages 3 to 6 tackles. He can definitely get a sack. But why I bring him up is because defensive line, some leagues, you just have to have a defensive line, and you're in the playoffs right now, or hopefully your playoffs have started by now. And do you want a big boom, or do you want a bust, or are you just going to be safe? And Cam Hayward is safe. He's practically 2% owned in most leagues. You can easily pick him up. You will not have to use much of your budget at all, or any. Probably could get him for 0. And that is going to be a big thing. But I'm telling you, he's had 13 tackles in the last 2 games from a DT spot. You look at some of these other guys like Walker, and that's, Walker for the Jags. You look at them, and you're like, 2 points, 38 points, 2 points, 1 point. But Cam Hayward always kind of has those tackles there for you. So if you have a DT spot or your defensive line spot and you're looking for some safe points, this is the game you want to do it because Miami runs a lot of plays up the middle. And if Achane is banged up, you're going to be looking at Gordon and whoever else they want to run out there to do these runs. So that right there is going to be a key. Now, last I looked, Malik Washington, that was a little banged up. I haven't looked today because I've been working at the dojo myself. So I haven't looked to see if he's going to play this week. And it's still pretty early in the week to determine that. I'm not a doctor guy. We got Dr. Roto for that. I'm just telling you, that's going to be the play. The Steelers are going to win this game. And that's going to be a big part of it. It starts with Cam Hayward. Go pick him up. It's a nice little play, and I like it. All right, Flores. You should be able, hopefully you can get into that Discord, but it is there. I also want to say something too. Watching Jalen Hurts throw an interception and then fumble that ball last night was some of the funniest stuff I have ever seen. I'm like, this is like the stuff that Mark Sanchez dreams of. He dreams of actually being that bad. But no, he's just the butt fumble guy, right? But what's Hurts? The double turnover guy now? What are we, double Ertz in this one? Dude, he has been terrible. And the minute that the teams have been able to figure out the Eagles, this also goes like, it's almost like Lamar's being terrible too. I don't know what they're doing, but Lamar, I feel better about Lamar, and I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts isn't a winner. But what I am saying is he looks terrible. He just looks bad. And that game last night was pretty laughable. They got some interceptions themselves. So it's kind of sloppy in a game that had great weather. So I don't know about that. But like, you see Josh Allen have a bad game or a bad game through fantasy, and it's still somewhat okay. But these guys will roll up a 4-point game. There's no reason for that when you're a superstar. Look at what Matt Stafford is doing right now with the Rams, right? MVP talk maybe is going to be the MVP talk. But at the same time, when you're stepping back and you're looking at this, there needs to be some accountability. And this team is literally losing its way out of the playoffs. They're going to make it because that division sucks. But if there was any kind of pressure from anybody in that division, the Eagles would be in trouble right now. Would be in trouble. And this is why Saquon Barkley is the Macho Pick of the Week, because Saquon Barkley is going to get 20 carries or plus. And when he gets that, the Eagles, well, I mean, it's the Raiders. They should win. But that defense is crazy. They chase the shit out of you, right? And you got Morgan should be back from suspension, and you still got the other defense out there. I mean, anytime Max Crosby's chasing your ass, you gotta get it. You gotta get out the way, right? But they've actually been a lot better than I thought they would be this year. The Raiders defense, that is, and they keep games kind of low scoring. But for me, they can get pressure on Hurts, but they're gonna win, and they're gonna win through Saquon Barkley. That is the show. I hope actually, I want to talk before I get out of here. I had 3 best ball leagues on DraftKings this year. I went 2-1. One was the Desert Qualifier. The other one was the Play Action. I moved on in both those leagues. Lots of injuries. Stuck through it. Also, I am on to the quarterfinals in the Scott Fishbowl 15. I have nothing but love for Scott and Fantasy Cares for allowing me to come back into this league and do a live draft. I cannot wait to do another live draft. They actually have one in Pittsburgh that actually makes me want to go down and hang out with Dan at a draft for Pittsburgh. But the NFL draft also is in Pittsburgh this year, and I know Dan's already looking into getting us down there. But wanted to bring that up because that's some good news some other good news in my seasonal league. That's my high stakes league. I was able to secure, somehow everybody just started losing and I was winning. And I ended up with the 4th overall spot. I was 5-6, and I was able to win the rest of the way up to go 8-6 and secure the 4th overall spot. So this team's a good team. Devontae Adams, big part of that. I do have Gianti, Warren. My tight ends really do it. I have Fannin, and I have Juwan Johnson. I have like Shakir, but Josh Allen at quarterback has been key for me, and I've been able to. And I have like Kenneth Walker, but technically, I'm practically playing Gianti and Warren, and then of course starting. I have Chris Olave, so he's been really good for me. So like my bench scored like 100 some points, so that's been fun to get that team through. I had my number 1 overall team lose a game going into the playoffs, but they got a bye week. Nobody was close. So they went 12-2. And I got beat out of the playoffs by my wife in one league. That sucked. And I lost last week, which I did win this week in my one league with the Pot of Thunder league. And I got kicked out. But in one of the BG Mania, which is a VGM video game musical podcast. In that league, I was able to win myself back into the playoffs. So I've got some playoff teams. I'm ready to do it. I hope everybody tuned in. If you missed the show, go back and listen. Let's talk about it. Get to Dr. Roto, use code word WIN, and become our rich friend. See why the UFC is a great product and why I'm going to miss it until January 24th. But when the UFC comes back, you all will know how to bring the pain to the competition. Have a great day. I want to thank everybody for coming through. W Energy, thank you. Code word bring the energy. 10% off your order. Let's go. Put the money. Woo.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. Until the next visit, be well